Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world-famous Comic Strip Live. And now, please give it up for your host. This guy torments audiences all over New York City. Ladies and gentlemen, Mehul Rakosi!
Yeah, sit down, yeah. Whenever you want, right? Up here, right. There you go. Nice to see you all. I expected more old Jews here, but not every... Hello. Hi. Hi. Thank you for coming. Thank all of you for coming. We're going to have more people coming along the way, but we have to begin the show because we're being broadcast across the country. Hello. How are you? I'm just here for a moment, and the moment is going to be introducing the CEO of Tannenbaum while Georgette gets drinks. Only two at a time, Georgette. Cut down, okay? Don't mock Georgette, please. Okay. I want to introduce you to the CEO. Are you ready, sir? I'm ready. CEO of Tannenbaum, the most wonderful...
Thank all of you at home for joining us tonight as well. So we are now in a new reality of in-person and virtual. So all of you, all of our sponsors this evening, we want to thank you because your contributions, every individual ticket, made it possible for us to both be here and to provide live streaming services to everyone who's watching us at home. So thank you all so much for that. You can clap for yourselves. It's okay. Someone outside asked me, so for those of you who don't know, I took over the leadership as the CEO of Tannenbaum in June of last year. June 1st was my first day as the CEO, and what you're thinking is exactly how it's been. It almost seemed a little bit like it was a setup. And I found myself thinking on June the 2nd, what would Obama do? Someone asked me outside in the lobby, how's it been? Like, how's it been going, leading the organization? I'm like, it's a fundraiser. For $500, I'll tell you how it's been going. $1,000, I'll tell you the truth. And seriously, the truth about Tanenbaum in 2021 is that we are thriving. Our workplace program has almost doubled the number of corporate members that are creating policies and programs around religious diversity and inclusion and belonging. We launched a podcast series of our peacemakers. We've released new curricula this year and are doing trainings with the Department of Education and are releasing a new chapter on the Baha'i faith in our medical manual. So in this time where things are uncertain and people are not quite sure what they're doing, our work is growing and our focus is clear. And that is because of all of you who come to events like this. So give yourselves another hand. I would be shirking my responsibilities if I did not plug our first event of our 30th anniversary year, Divinely Inspired. You have a little note card on your table, so please take that with you and mark your calendars. And if you are moved to make a donation over the course of the evening, like the hilarity, like the laughter just takes you to a place where you go into your wallet and you just want to give. Like you can use the QR code on the back of the invitation to make your donation tonight. And with that, I thank you. So glad to have you with us, and I'm turning this back over to Mike Rakosi. Mike.
Thank you. Okay, come on, more for them. That's what we need, another funny black guy. He was really wonderful. Next year you get 5 minutes. Maybe 3 minutes, okay? You were really excellent. And he thinks he was picked because of his skill. It's that Joyce Dubinsky didn't meet the height requirement anymore to be a CEO. I guess only those who know Joyce laughed. You don't know Joyce. You know Joyce? Okay. She's very short. She's going to be in the remake of The Wizard of Oz. Right? That was me, right? Was that mean? Good. I'm going to introduce you to your MC for tonight. He's a friend of mine for years. We've been performing forever. He gets major laughs, as he will tonight. My very dear friend, Ron Nobles.
What's up, New York City? Yeah, man, you guys are doing something nice for a good cause. Give yourself a round of applause. Nice. The best thing to do is start a comedy show. Get the closest seat you can, put your foot on the stage, and then just start texting. That's the key to a really great comedy show. Thank you, sir. How are you tonight? What's your name? Justin. Nice. Is that your side piece that was texting?
That was my secretary.
Oh, well, same thing, right? Same. Yeah. I bet you're with that secretary late a lot, right, Justin? Is that? All right. Sorry, I couldn't help it. But she's feeling sick. Good excuse, right? You have to give Justin credit for that excuse. Nice. How about you guys over here? Are you two dating? Yeah, how long? Uh-oh, sir. Almost 2 years. You guys know what that means. The clock is ticking. You better get the damn ring on her finger, sir. That's what it means. And you got any big vacations planned soon?
How do you know?
Oh, I ruined a surprise up here, guys. I ruined a surprise. How about you two right here? Are you guys dating? 46 years. All right, sir. The clock is definitely ticking for you. Might be time at some point, right? At some point. Yeah, you guys are married? 46 years or dating? I mean, like the whole thing?
We're married and we date.
All right, so you got married on the first date. I got it. We're married and well, that's nice. This is like date night for you tonight, right? Nice. I actually dated a girl for 6 months once. That's my record. So you guys had me slightly beat, right? Just slightly. Nice. Tanenbaum. So give your host, whoever this guy was, Mike Rakosi. What did he do tonight? What were you doing tonight, Michael? All right. Well, give him a round of applause, huh, ladies and gentlemen? Michael Rakosi. I thought your CEO, Mark, kind of blew him out of the water personally, and was also smart enough to know when the time is to shave that thing off the back of your head, right? Like, Mark is like, just let it all go. Who are you fooling with that thing? Am I right? Like, what is that weird U-shaped thing you got there? Nice. So you probably heard my name is Ron. Before I became a world famous stand-up comedian, I was actually a teacher. All right, that's cool. So at least one of you likes teachers. That's cool, I guess. I actually didn't love being a teacher, and I'll tell you why. I would tell people I was a teacher, and almost always they would assume that I was a gym teacher. That's messed up, right? Yeah, because if people assume you're a gym teacher, it can only mean two things, right? One is that you're in really good shape. I'm not, right? So for me, it was probably that second one. You look like a dumbass, right? Clearly, the only thing this moron could teach is gym, right? That's what people are saying, basically. But I got to be honest with you guys, I did not teach gym. I actually taught technology, STEM, like nerdy shit, nerdy shit. I used to start the lessons, like, today, kids, we're going to learn some nerdy shit, you know what I mean? And they liked it. I would tell people that sometimes, like, oh, actually, no, I actually am a technology teacher. And you can't believe how often people would look at me and be like, oh, they have technology in gym now? That makes sense. Like, you bastards, right? I was at a party once. I just decided going into this party, like, I'm not even going to tell anyone I'm a teacher because I'm sick of them assuming I'm a gym teacher. You know what I'm saying? I met a guy. He's like, oh, what do you do? I was like, oh, I work for Google, He looks at me and goes, they have gym at Google? They have everything, don't they have everything? So that's my story. Is there any teachers here tonight? No, all right, you guys all make too much money. I get it. Teachers don't have any money to give away, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to make it happen. You are a teacher? Wait, did I see a hand? You were like, I was thinking about admitting it, and I was like, nah. Well, it is Thursday. Teachers get hammered, Thursday's usually like the start of the weekend for teachers, so that makes sense. They're probably all drunk somewhere. So as a teacher, you're something called a mandated reporter. Have you guys ever heard that term? Some of you have, some of you haven't. I'll explain it to you. If you, as a teacher, you're actually required by law, if you know anything bad is happening to a kid, doesn't have to be one of your students or even a kid in your school, just any kid in the world, you are required by law to report that. Right now, there's another name for teacher. That's called being a decent human being. right? I mean, a mandated reporter. Because can you imagine like walking down the street, be like, oh my goodness, that kid's about to get hit by a bus. If only I were a mandated reporter, I would do something, right? I got to tell you guys, I was in Poughkeepsie. Anybody? Poughkeepsie, New York? All right, I was just there a couple weeks ago. I told that joke. I was like, there's another name for a mandated reporter, and some guy in the audience yelled out, snitch! Snitch, sir! We're talking about kids, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't mess around with Poughkeepsie anymore. I'll tell you guys that, right? I thought that was crazy. But I will tell you guys this about being a mandated reporter. Sometimes you get put in a weird position. Like I stayed at my friend's house. He has 4 kids. They're all 7 and younger, right? Nuts, right? You ever hang out in a house with 4 kids this young? It's absolutely nuts. And the kids never stop moving, right? They're crazy little bastards. My buddy told me that they don't sleep at night. He's like, we'll just hear them up running around the hallways chasing each other. He's like, but don't worry, me and my wife, we came up with an idea. I was like, oh, cool, what's that? And he goes, oh, we went on to all their bedrooms and we turned their doorknobs around. Yeah, do you guys know what this means? They're locking their kids in their room at night, guys. Right? I looked at him, I was like, dude, why don't you just put some bars on the doors? You know what I mean? He's like, no, you don't want to do that. Then you can hear them scream. Listen, my buddy might not be a great dad, but he'd make an excellent warden, wouldn't he? Like, really good. I know you guys are probably wondering at the end of the weekend, I was really thinking about it. It was wearing on me a little, you know. I was like, man, I'm a mandated reporter. I should say something to this guy, you know. Well, then I thought, I was like, I'm no snitch, you know. Not doing that shit. So you guys pretty religious? Religious? Come on, clap it up. All right, cool. So nobody ever likes to admit they're religious. I don't know what the deal is. I actually grew up in a strict Baptist home. Any Baptists? There's never any Baptists either. I don't know what the deal. They're hard to find, those Baptists, I tell you. They're hard to find. No, my parents were serious, man. They were strict. We, no alcohol in the house, no cursing, anything like that. I'll tell you how crazy my parents were. My older sister gets married, and they had no alcohol at the wedding. Yeah. Boring, right? I mean, listen. The only thing worse than watching a whole bunch of white guys dance is a whole bunch of sober white guys dance, right? That shit was brutal, you know what I'm saying? Bunch of white Baptists out there. Yeah, let's do this, right? Yeah, so that was that. It was actually weird, too, growing up, because where I grew up is actually the largest spiritualist community in the world. You guys know about these spiritualists? Well, they have a really special skill. They have the ability to talk to dead people. Yeah, wouldn't that be a nice skill to have? That'd be a nice skill. There's actually, my small little town, I grew up just south of Buffalo, New York. There is people that fly from all over the world to come and talk to their dead relatives. It's some of them who apparently didn't fly and talk to them when they were still alive. They waited a little too long, right? And it's a whole industry. It's a whole industry up there. It'll be all these people who lost somebody suddenly, and they want answers, They're like, man, what's going on? So they'll pay people hundreds of dollars so they can talk to their dead relatives. And it's always the same thing, right? First of all, they always find them, no matter what, right? And after they find them, they always tell you the same line. They'd be like, oh, they love you and miss you very much, right? That's the line, right? So you'll walk in there and be like, man, my wife and I were fighting for a week. She got in a car accident, died. I don't know what to do, And they will be like, ooh, your wife is here. Yeah, she said she was on her way to buy flowers for that fight and hit a patch of ice and went off the road. But she said she loves you and misses you very much, right? Now, all I'm saying is I would believe these people if they just snuck some bad news in once in a while, right? Like every 5th person. And it's so easy. I could tell you the story right now, right? Be like, oh, your wife is here. Ooh, she said she drove off that cliff on purpose. Yeah, she said being dead sucks, but it's way better than dealing with your dumb ass. Wait, she's back. She said, say hello to your best friend, Mark? Oh, she loves him and misses him very much. There it is. I think that's how it would go. Is there any Mormons here? No, man, you guys weren't lying when you said no Baptists, no Mormons. What are the chances? What are the chances? I grew up, one of my best friends in high school was a Mormon. You know, he's in my friend group. We'd all make the same stupid joke. You guys probably know this joke, right? It's like, oh, dude, you're going to have 4 wives someday, right? Like, save some for us. You know, that dumb joke. Yeah, but now I'm at an age where I have enough friends that have been married for long enough that I actually know what it would be like to have 4 wives. Yeah, can you just imagine that? Just getting to an age where you have 4 women who all mutually agree they're no longer attracted to your old fat ass. Just walking around the house, oh, Marion? No, she's got a headache. No, right? And it is tough. Like, religion and relationships can be tough. And I know this. My ex was Jewish, right? We dated for 2 years. I lied about that 6 months. Sorry, guys. Right? And we started making compromises. You know, we both had to make tough compromises. We really did. Like, that poor girl, she had to start celebrating Christmas. That's a tough one, right? But me, I got to not watch Mel Gibson movies anymore. Yeah, Mel, he doesn't like the Jews, guys. Yeah. I have to admit, I was a little upset when we broke up. I really was. But that next day, Braveheart was on, you know, I was like, oh, shit, that was worth it, you know. I missed you, Braveheart, I missed you. That's how that goes. All right, so before I get this show rolling, I want to share a little news with you guys if you're interested. Are you ready for a little news I have going on in my life? Oh, awesome. I am actually a double threat now because I am an actor as well. That's right, double threat. Actually, triple threat. I can also speak to your dead relatives if you need me to. I have that ability as well, all right? So I'm actually something called a method actor. Do you guys know about this, method acting? No? I can explain it to you. If you're a method actor, you get a role, right? And then you have to become that character, that role, even in your real life. So everywhere you go, you are now that person, right? For as long as the role takes, you know? And I'll tell you why it actually kind of is nice in real life, is because it just gave you an excuse to act like an asshole, right? Like, this isn't your fault. And people will make the excuse for you once they know you're a method actor, right? I don't know if you guys remember Heath Ledger. Do you guys know him? Heath Ledger was a method actor, and he died while he was the Joker. Did you guys know this? He was doing The Dark Knight. He was actually the Joker when he died, technically, right? And I have heard people make this excuse for him. They'd be like, oh my goodness, that role of the Joker is just too dark. That's why he died. The role was too dark, right? But now, do you guys know how Heath died? That's right, he OD'd. Now, I watched The Dark Knight, guys, and let me tell you something. The Joker never did drugs once the entire movie, right? Like, if Heath would have got gunned down because he robbed a bank, I'd have been like, hell yeah, that guy was dedicated to the role, right? Nice to have people make excuses for you, but I will tell you guys this. It hasn't been working as well in my own life. And I think I know the reason. It's probably because the roles I'm getting aren't quite as good as The Dark Knight. You know, I haven't got it yet. You know, so I'll tell you what happened to me in my life. My ex-girlfriend, she found out that I had accidentally cheated on her. Yeah, and she was pretty pissed, you know. So I just looked at her and I was like, listen, yes, I did cheat on you. But I'll have you know, that's what waiter number 2 would have done. Weak excuse, right? Weak excuse. Yo, are you guys ready to rock and roll tonight or what? Oh, yeah, keep that energy up, guys, because we have such an awesome show tonight. This first comic coming to the stage, first of all, has been a board member at Tanenbaum for over 10 years, I believe, for decades. So let her hear it for that, because that's dedication. But not only that, she is also a regular right here at the world-famous Comic Strip Live. So please let her hear it. Ladies and gentlemen, Hollie Weiss.
Serious trip hazard here. Could be bad luck. All right. Yes, I'm Hollie Weiss, and I am so happy to be back up on this stage and to see all of you folks. I mean, look in here. Some of you have not seen me for like 2 years, maybe more. So maybe I'll try to catch you up on what's been going on in my life. I quit my day job. I launched a new and super successful business. And I quit drinking. Whoa. I quit drinking Grey Goose, just Grey Goose. It's too expensive. No, but seriously, I have conquered all of my vices, except one. I can't seem to shake my husband. So I have my best friend from high school here tonight. And she knows, oh, sorry, don't step on a clap. She knows that my father was a weatherman, right? And when I was young, I used to think that my behavior affected the weather, right? That's because my father would say things to me like, "You've been such a good girl. Look what a nice sunny day I made for you." So I remember this one time my parents were like fighting or something in the bedroom, and then fighting stopped and a rainbow appeared. So I asked my father, was I especially good? He said, "No, but your mother was." So I grew up in a large Christian family. I was the third of 6 children, which is a great place to be if you want to be neglected. I used to have to deliberately misbehave to get my mother's attention. Like when I married a Jew. Speaking of marriage, anybody here married? Ron didn't ask that. You have anybody? Oh, there's somebody happy about it. You over there. I don't see your husband. Is he not here? No wonder you're so happy. What, he doesn't care about world peace and happiness and stuff? Huh. Hey, so where'd you meet him? Set up. Huh. But I'm sure you probably know how young I am, and so of course I met my husband online, waiting for beer at a frat party. He and I have been married now for almost 32 years. It's a generation, but let's kind of keep that quiet because it does conflict with my Tinder profile. Which says that I'm 37. So when you wonder, what's the secret to our very long marriage, too long marriage, it's that we have a lot of common activities, and we don't do any of them together. Like, for example, we're both on Facebook, but we are not friends. We both like to drink, right? He drinks scotch with his guy friends, and I drink wine with my boyfriends. But the truth is, we're still together because he's Jewish and I'm Jewish, which means we'll never spend a dime on a divorce. Right, that's the good stereotype, so it's okay. We have twin boys. They're really great. When they got to be communion age, they decided to embrace their Judaism. Fully embrace their Judaism. So as a family, we lost a really special day, Christmas. It was replaced with Chinese food and a movie. But this year I think I'm going to reinvent Christmas for my Jewish family, right? So instead of feasting, we will fast. And then at the end of the fast, we will break that fast with kosher for Christmas cookies. And Christmas will not end until we've paid the kids to tell us where they hid their presents. So I am like the quintessential Jewish mother now. One of my kids is in law school, the other's in medical school, gonna have a doctor and a lawyer, and I know they're going to be successful because they have been overspending my money for decades. So over the pandemic, I became more observant. Like not Jewishly observant, noticing things. Like I noticed that I love hosting Zoom calls. Because you can talk over people, you can mute them, you can throw them out of the meeting. If I could only pinch their butts, I'd be like every male boss I've ever had. I've noticed I don't like outdoor dining. Outdoor dining is just like indoor dining, except colder and more rat infested. I watch a lot of daytime TV. I've learned that there are a lot of drugs to ask my doctor about. I've also noticed that during lockdown, I noticed that living with my husband is torture. But I have figured out with the right mix of outside time, nap time, and noise-canceling headphones, I can get through the entire day without seeing or hearing him. All right, so I'm going to leave you guys with this one. You guys, my husband's a really good sport, and he came here even knowing I was going to do this, and unlike this lady's husband, so got to clap for him. So now that you've all gotten a good look, you would agree with me that he needs to learn some self-care. So I'm thinking about sending him to emotional support animal school. Because I imagine that a certified emotional support husband can lick his own balls. All right, thank you all for coming.
Hollie Weiss, guys, let her hear it. Her husband's so much more flexible than he looks, right? That whole ball licking trick is a good one. I told you guys before my name's Ron, right? I mean, I just never liked my first name. Is there anyone in here who doesn't really like their first name? Like Ron? Do you picture like an old football coach or some shit, Like, I should have like a real raspy voice. Go get 'em, boys, right? Like something like this. I've never liked it. But I will tell you guys this, there's a reason I'm named Ron. I was actually named after my father, which I think is really nice, right? Isn't that really nice? Yeah, I think so. Thank you. I'll tell you guys who doesn't think it's that nice. That's my older brother. Right? Because he was born, my dad took a look at him, he's like, nah, I can't do it, right? I mean, you guys are probably thinking, well, maybe he's waiting for his next son, but isn't there a really good chance my dad might not have another son? Like, literally, my brother was born, he was like, you know what? I guess I'd just rather nobody have my name than this little bastard right here, right? That's how that went. All right, are you guys ready for your next comic? Oh, you guys are going to love her. You might recognize her from TV. Yes, right. She's got her own late night show, and it is called The Up Late with Hollie Harper. You guessed her name. Ladies and gentlemen, Hollie Harper.
Keep it going for your host. All right, so I'm a mom of 2 kids, so I'm happy to be here, okay? And not there. That's what that's about. Oh, God, so clap it up for the fact that these kids are back in school this year. Yes, because what? Parents, where are the parents? Parents, where are you? You? That's your son. I was like, he's not a parent. What's going on? You're a parent. Look at you. Oh, are you drinking? Yes, parents are always drinking the heaviest. Escaping from the goddamn home. That's what's going on. Yes, so that was trash, okay? Those kids didn't learn squat. All right, all those kids learned is the wheels of America fall off very fast, okay? Very quickly, all right? Wheels made of Tinker Toys, all right? Because here's the thing, it's not my job to educate them. That's the state's job, all right? That's what taxes are for. But my 14-year-old daughter, she's known this for a while. She knows I tap out at the 3rd grade. Like, that's where I say, Uncle, you got me. You know what I mean? So like she's a girl, so we just talk, fashion, makeup, how not to get raped, girl shit. You know what I mean? Girl shit. But my son, he's 9, so last year was like his 3rd grade, and it was like a year of slow disappointment. You know what I mean? Like he would come to me and he'd be like, Mama, what's 2 + 2? I was like, yeah. He's like, I'm not done yet. Times 4? I was like, yeah. He's like, I'm not done yet. Divided by 9? I was like, yeah, I'm not done yet. Times 2.4952? Mama, what is that? Mama, what is that? Mama, what is that? I was like, that's just a mojito, okay? Because that's all I see coming at my face with all this nonsense. I'm not equipped for this. Oh, God. So I've been married for 23 years. 23 years. Look, but don't clap, because they give less time for murder. They do. They really do. Like real hard murder. Like, I'm happy, okay? I'm not happy. I'm not like a newlywed, like, oh my God, I'm getting pounded. I'm like normal. I have normal traffic going on down here. Just normal, respectable traffic, you know? My husband and I were watching this movie the other day, or 5 years ago. It's all the same with marriage. Who can tell? But it was called The Vow, all right? And it's like this movie. It's got Rachel McAdams and Channing Tatum. Anybody know it? Anyone? Oh, look at you. Oh, hey. And like the whole thing, like, look at me. I'm like, yeah. They're like in love, right? And then they're in a car accident, and she hits her head, and she has amnesia. 5 people in America have amnesia. She's one of them. Fine, okay? But like the whole thing of the movie is that he has to reintroduce her to herself. Like, this used to be you. And I was looking at my husband next to me on a couch, and I was like, he would totally use this as a reset button. You know what I mean? Like, how many of y'all would not reset your spouse 65%? You know what I'm saying? Just enough, you know what I mean? Like, I know my husband would be like, baby, cooking and cleaning, that was your whole thing, girl. That was your whole life. Scrub. Sex every night. Used to choke on it. Every night. We shared everything, Holly. Food, money, your hot friend Tasha, everything. Everything. My husband was like, actually, it wouldn't be Tasha. It'd be Suzanne. So now I have my eye on Suzanne. Oh, God. So I do CrossFit because I respond to abuse. It's the American way. Okay? But I used to do Planet Fitness, and I quit. I quit Planet Fitness because I value myself, okay? $10 a month says way more about me than it ever does about Planet Fitness. There are so many cheap things. And what put me over the edge is, okay, let me tell you. Okay, I was in the locker room one night, right, in the shower after I worked out, obviously butt naked, and I'm sudsing up, and the whole place went pitch black. Yeah, ooh is right. Like, I instantly started crying. I was like, oh my God, this is how it goes down in prison. You know what I mean? And like, my whole ass, all 3 holes just shut down like no. You know what I mean? And I told my husband this story, and he was like, wait, there's 3 holes. I was like, yes, there's 3. You just hit the wrong 2. I'm not that freaky. I'm a basic black woman, okay? Basic. God. So I used to try and be the perfect mom. Like, you know, when you have that when you're a first-time parent, you try to be the perfect parent, you know, and you're like, everybody has to wash their hands 3 times before they hold the baby. We only get wooden toys from Sweden. You know what I mean? Until you're like, oh my God, turn the TV on. I can't take it anymore. I can't. It all fell apart one day. All right? My daughter was 1.5, and I was determined to make it to story time at the library. Now, all over the city, all over New York City, they have story time 10:30 at the public libraries. That's just what they do. And I was like, I have to get her shapes and her numbers and her colors, or she's gonna be a hooker. Like, that was like my thinking. Like, I just have to do it. You know what I mean? I see you. All right? So he's like, get the hell off the stage. But like, so I was like, I got it. Okay, who here has ever dressed a sleeping baby? Sleeping baby? Right? That is some BS, right? That's like Weekend at freaking Bernie's, all right? My daughter was passed out. I was like, oh my God, I should be asleep next to her. But no, I make life difficult, so we're just gonna make this happen. I have 3 minutes to make it to the library. 3, all right? I'm racing down the street, 10:27, 10:28, 10:29. Finally, it's 10:29 and a half, and I'm get up to the library, and I'm like, yes, you made it. And they're singing The Wheels on the Bus. I can hear it from the street. They're like, the wheels on the bus go round and round. And I was like, yes, you that mom of the world, girl. You did this. Like, you did it. And I see my mom buddies behind the door. I'll be like, hey, girl. And then this woman, I I'm being very nice when I call her a woman. She comes to the door and just shuts it right in my face. And she's like, I'm sorry, we're at capacity. And I was like, whoo, don't cry in public. Like, I'm like white, hot, angry. I'm like, storm the Capitol angry. You know what I mean? I'm like, whoo, and I just take the stroller and I walk out, and like, this is how I make myself feel better. I'm walking down the street, I'm like, she could die in a grease fire, Holly. She could be attacked by wolves. Tomorrow could be a better day, bitch. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, I'm like, this stroller feels funny. And I look down, and it's not my stroller. And I pull the awning back, and it's not my kid. And I was like, ah! You stole a kid from the library. And I'm looking at him, and he's this cute little white boy. And I'm like, God damn, I have a cute little black girl. He's like the opposite of my daughter. You know what I mean? How could this happen? And then it really sinks in like, ooh, you stole a white child from the library. Ooh, girl, they look for white kids in America. You know what I mean? Like, your little 9-month-old black baby could disappear if that bitch ran away. But they're going to look for Gabby Potato. You know what I'm saying? They looked on other planets for that bitch. You know what I'm saying? I was like, so I'm racing back to the library. Racing. And I get there. No one knows this child is missing. They're still singing the wheels in the bus. Nobody's looking for anybody, right? And I see my daughter just knocked out of sleep, like in her stroller. And I go up there and I push Wolfie Braden, I don't know what the fuck this kid's name is, I don't know. And I push him in and I take my daughter and I jet up out of there. I cry the whole way home. Because I was like, girl, God has blessed you with a child. Bless you with a child. People all over the world paying millions of dollars to have a baby when all they had to do was steal one from the library. And I'm Hollie Harper. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Hollie Harper. Man, she got out of jail just in time to meet us up here tonight. So nice of her. I guess they let those kidnappers out quick. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring you your next comic. And by the way, you got to check this guy out on Amazon Prime. His special is on there, and you're going to love it. It is called Artificial Ignorance. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Sasha Srbulj.
I didn't do anything during the pandemic. Nothing. No improvement. Not one iota of self-betterment. Nothing. Zero. Nothing. I hope I'm in a crowd of like-minded people, right? You didn't all buy Pelotons or something, no? All right, good. Because let's. To be honest, if you came out of this pandemic with abs, you're a shitty person. All right. I don't care. Like, thousands of people are dying. Have some empathy. All right, well, I'm gonna do crunches. You know, I kicked bread out. I'm not eating carbs. Fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell is? Have some empathy. The only way to come out of a pandemic is 12 pounds heavier with a Xanax addiction, like a normal human being, like a decent human being. Thank you. You know what I ended up doing? I watched documentaries the whole freaking time. For 8 months straight, I watched I watched the Stonewall documentary. Did anybody watch the Stonewall? Does everybody know what Stonewall? Yeah, great. Okay, great. So, gay people finally fought back against police brutality. I watched this documentary. My mom calls up, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm watching the Stonewall documentaries." And get this, she tells me, "Watch it again, because your Uncle Davey may be in it." I had no fucking... An uncle I didn't know. He died like in the early 90s. I didn't really get to know him. And now I'm finding out he was at Stonewall. And I rewind the thing, I watch it again, and he's in a picture. I had an uncle who was at Stonewall. He was with the 13th precinct, and there's photos of him hitting a drag queen. He was at Stonewall, it still counts. There's no Uncle Davey. I made him up, it's a joke. Stop judging me. I do not have a dead cop uncle who'll be friends, and I tell him, don't trust that ally bullshit. I mean, yeah, everybody's an ally, but like Italy. You know what I mean? You know what I did? I was trying to figure out how to make money. Like, I need a business plan. The world's ending. And they kept the media, with the beginning of the pandemic, the media kept on saying, there's going to be a baby boom. People are going to be alone in the dark. There's going to be a baby boom. Nothing can stop Americans from fucking. No amount of anxiety can stop Americans from having sex on the internet for money. But there was no baby boom. There was no baby boom. But one of the things I read is they'll know if there's a baby boom by the sales of home pregnancy tests. So if sales of home pregnancy tests go skyrocket, they know there's going to be a baby boom. And that got me thinking, that's a nice industry for disruption. Home pregnancy tests. I mean, that's just the name really implies the best way that can go. Home pregnancy test. You know, it's like you're a couple and you're peeing on a stick, your partner's outside. Like, what is it, honey? That's why I'm coming out with a new line of products called gas station bathroom pregnancy test. For when there's nobody calling. Much more realistic, right? Or maybe slightly controversial, but I think needed. A new line of products called high school girls' room pregnancy test. It just comes out of the box already positive. You know she's knocked up, right? Justin's pullout game sucks, right? So it comes out of the box already positive. It's just a list of abortion clinics in Canada. Because TikTok on that shit, all right? Of the dumb things that people did during the pandemic, one of my friends bought a boat. And buying a boat, I mean, there's no, good way to buy a boat. It never comes from a good decision. There's no sage, learned boat owners. I mean, unless you're like an 80-year-old Greek fisherman, there's no... I need some advice. Let me ask my friend. He owns a boat. Nobody said that ever. It's just a stupid thing. By the way, I know this is an interfaith organization. I don't care what religion you are. If you own a boat, you're not getting to heaven. That's just God's never like, oh, sure, you spent how much money on stupid things? Sure, you get in. No, my friend bought a boat, and I went boating with him. It doesn't fit me, I know. But anyway, one of the worst things, if you ever want to know just the cloud of douchery that exists in the boating community, all you got to do is walk through a marina and read the names of the boats. There's two levels of names. One has bottoms up. One type of name is like, you guys need to stop drinking, like that. And then the rest of the boats are just trying to chest bump you. It's all this douchery. This one name particularly pissed me off. The boat's name was Impulsive 3. Yeah, Impulsive 3, which means, because he bought Impulsive 1, and then he bought Impulsive 2, and now he bought Impulsive 3. It's pissing me off because it should be Impulsive 1, Pattern 2, Compulsion 3. I went to therapy. Did anybody smoke weed during the pandemic? Yeah. Huh? It's legal. I went to Boston. I thought I would do it, but I went to Boston. In Boston, they have legal weed, and they have stores that sell weed. And in any city now that has legal weed, they have weed sommeliers. Guys that tell you it's a body high, it's euphoric, it's calming, no paranoia. They tell you how you feel when you smoke the weed. That's cool, but that's not a sommelier. Like if you go to a restaurant, the sommelier tells you how the wine tastes. It doesn't tell you what you're gonna do. The sommelier is not like, well, it's got fruity overtones, you're gonna fuck your ex later. It's not. Don't tell me how I'm gonna feel, no paranoia. Really? I'm paranoid right now, I'm sober. You don't know what's in my head. It's like if you ever go to a whiskey tasting, the guy's like, well, it's got the cask flavor and you're gonna beat the shit out of your wife later. Is that uncomfortable? Did I just reveal something about the history of Ireland nobody knew? Oh. I hope you all took the vaccine. I don't. I was thinking, what should I say? Interfaith organizations. So I was reading about religious exemptions, and it made me think about, that Argentina. Does anybody remember that story about the Argentinian team, that rugby team that crashed in the Andes in the 80s? Do you guys remember that? Yeah, Alive. There was a movie about it. So it's an Argentinian rugby team that crashed in the Andes in the snow. They were stuck up there for months, and they ended up to survive. They ate They're friends. And once they survived, they came down and they asked a lot of them were religious Catholics, and they asked the church for forgiveness. And the church was like, yeah, man, you did what you got to do, man, no problem. You go, you do you. So what I'm saying is, if they can eat your quarterback, you can get a fucking vaccine. All right? I don't care. I don't care if that thing was made out of bacon-wrapped embryos. You're gonna get it. You know who? It's interesting. You know who? Young people. There's a lot of young people resistant to the vaccine because there's this bullshit theory that they fear they're gonna be infertile or sterile, that it's gonna make them unable to have babies. And that must be really conflicting if you're like a 20-year-old. I mean, think about it. You get the vaccine on a Thursday, and you're tripping. You just I hope it didn't make me sterile. I hope it didn't make me sterile. For days you worry about that. Then you have a crazy weekend. Sunday morning you wake up, you're like, man, I hope that thing made me sterile. My favorite vaccine conspiracy theory is that the people who think it's a pandemic, man, they're doing this to control us. They did this to control us. Sure. You remember how out of control we all were in 2019, all neatly waiting in line for the new iPhone? We were this close to revolution as we were dialing into the next American Idol vote. But the demographic that apparently is like the worst across all, whatever race, ethnicity, middle-aged men. They do not want to take the vaccine. I think it's like a toughness thing or whatever. And middle-aged men are the highest demographic unlikely to take the vaccine, which is interesting considering the fact that they take another Pfizer product, like Tic Tacs, and never once... Have you ever heard of it? Who knows what's in that thing? You don't know what's in that thing. It's not natural. It's not natural. No. A 60-year-old dude with a rock-hard erection, that's natural. That's completely natural. Not only is that it's against God's will, actually. If you were... Speaking of which, I think middle-aged men, and I'm sorry, guys, they're the source of all evil, really, of everything. I mean, look, they rule the world, right? They run everything. They have all the money. They have, 90% of Congress. It's them. It's their fault. If you have, them in particular. No, but it's an interfaith organization. Think of this. I mean, really, aren't most religious rules just a bunch of rules that middle-aged men are oppressing us with? Aren't they mostly middle-aged insecurities? Think about it. There's religions from every part of the world, right? In this room. Right? Isn't it weird that they all have hats? Isn't that weird? No, God said you got to cover your head. God said everything, like Far East, Middle East, Arabia, Europe. No, you got to cover, at least here, at least right there. You got to cover your head. Really? That's what God said? It's not that you're maybe bald a little and now we all got to cover our heads? No, God said that. God also said no meat, no pork, no fat. You can't eat that. Really? It's not maybe that you have elevated cholesterol levels and then... No, God said that. That's what God said. Also, no sex before marriage and then just to have kids and after that, nothing. That's what God said. Really, not you can't get it up anymore now. Nobody can have fun. I think my religion was, not my religion, but I was brought up sort of Christian, or we celebrated Christmas, let's say that, and Easter. I mean, like most of you, I don't think you're kind of light religion. I think most people aren't really that faithful. I mean, I've been to church parking lots, way too many BMWs for anybody to really believe in that. So, no, but here's where where Christianity lost me. And it's none of the tenets, it's nothing the serious stuff, resurrection, fine. Walked on water, cool. Healed people, yeah, fed people, fishes, all God, cool. No problem. Carpenter. Really? Jesus was a carpenter. That's what you're telling me? Like, it sounds just like a bullshit story they threw on ad hoc. Because look, we know what Jesus was. He was he was a prophet. He went around airports handing out, pamphlets. That's the kind of guy he was. He wasn't a carpenter. They needed to, he was a hippie that walked around, hey, peace. They needed to tack on the carpenter thing afterwards to make him sellable to the middle classes. Do you understand? Because as they were, proselytizing, somebody probably from the back yelled out, oh, what'd he do? Excuse me? This Jesus guy. What'd he do? I mean, he lived 33 years? He didn't have a job or anything? No, he had a job. Yeah, sure. He did things with his, he made stools. He was a carpenter. There you go. Because that's the only mention of carpentry in the Bible. There's no carpentry-related miracles. Jesus never walked in a room like, bam, bookshelves. Like, there's no... Really, he was a carpenter? He had a pencil behind his ear. Like, I don't know, for cash, maybe we can... Yeah. He was in the union. Anyway, it's bullshit. It just doesn't sound right. Carpenter. Like, he was on the cross for half a day. No mention. Oak. You'd think he would find it ironic that a carpenter was nailed to a plank of wood. No mention. Think about that. Think about how hard an actual sell it would be if he was a carpenter. Think about how... Anyway, I'll leave you with this. I don't want to go to hell. But anyway, no, you know what? I live in Bushwick, and does everybody know Bushwick? Everybody knows. It's like an entire neighborhood made up of bike messengers. It's like it's a very liberal neighborhood. I'm liberal, but in Bushwick, I'm fucking Richard Nixon. Anyway, so Bushwick I love it, but it's very it's. And by the way, if you guys aren't liberal, don't be. It's a never-ending, is this organic? I'm fucking composting now. I don't know what I'm doing. I'd love to be conservative for a weekend. You know what I want to do? I want to start this is the company I actually want to start. I want to start a travel agency that sells conservative tour, like for liberals to be conservative for the weekend. I so want to go down to Myrtle Beach, listen to dumb music, drink whiskey, have sex with a woman, and not care whether she came. Just once in my life, just not ask her, is it okay for you? Just come like a conservative. Anyway, no, the reason I'm mentioning it is I found out Kamala Harris's daughter lives in Bushwick. And that made me, Kamala Harris's daughter lives in Bushwick. And that made me realize that there's a bunch of people in my neighborhood, there's a bunch of Secret Service agents in my neighborhood pretending to be vegan graphic designers. And that's my hobby now, is to try to spot them out. God bless you.
Sasha Srbulj! Sasha's also doing side gigs as a motivational speaker, so if you big corporate events coming up, child's birthday parties too, he does all of them. All right, you guys might know this next guy. I guess the best way to introduce him is to apologize. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Rakosi!
That was the last Jewish carpenter ever. Never been, there's not even a construction contractor that's Jewish like that. No one at all. Justin, how are you? This is the chairman. Are you the chairman? He is the chairman of Tannenbaum. Give him a giant applause. He does this year after year without money, and rightfully so. And he has a marriage. He's married to this he's a green card marriage, really. He's married to this gorgeous blonde woman who has 12 PhDs. Was she head of the department at Notre Dame?
She's the Cadbury Professor of Religion.
She's the Cadbury. You mean you get chocolate. Each student gets chocolate. This guy has a way about himself. Luckily, he's loaded. If he wasn't loaded, she wouldn't exactly be with him, plus the green card and the chocolates, right? Of course, she's not here, right?
No.
She has her real life tonight. It's okay. Oh, this is your secretary, right?
No, these are some of our business partners.
That's just like...
They're from Chubb.
Oh, from your what?
From Chubb, the insurance
Oh, you work for Chubb now? I didn't know that. I send you a lot of money every year for all sorts of things. You really pay quickly. They do. They say what it is. We had a flood in our house, and they pay. They say, well, just tell us what it is. We'll send you a check. I said, what it is? You just send me a check? Yeah. I was too ashamed to tell them what it is. They're really wonderful. No, they really are wonderful. You all work for Chubb? Yeah, you all look foreign. Oh, big deal. How is this? This table has been accused of everything. Yeah, call all white people, and a lot of you are women, I think, right? Yeah. So I taught to tell you, wearing masks, you just could be bank robbers. You're wearing your mask and eating simultaneously. This is the opposite. This is like food boarding. You're trying to shove it through. Have you had a good time so far? Right. How about you? You've had a good time? Yeah, I'm glad you didn't get dressed up. God almighty. There's nothing in the bottom of that. You've gone through the bottom already, right? Oh, Georgette, have Georgette order more popcorn. You have one popcorn for 60 people? What are you, anti-Semitic or something? Who eats like that, for God's sake? Where's the couple that was married over there? One person who was married. They said, are you married? The guy raised his hand. Are you not sure or you hate it? Which one? What's your name? John. Scott also. Okay. And how long you been married? A month. Really? Mazel tov. Give him applause. This guy doesn't know crap. How long you been together?
3 years.
3 years. And what do you do for a living?
I work for a consulting firm.
Another consulting firm. Everybody consults. No one has an actual job. And what do you consult on?
Technology.
Of course. Anybody else in technology? Did you raising your hand or just wiping your mouth? Oh, okay. Would you like to be the consultant in technology? Okay. And what do you do, young lady?
I'm a lawyer.
For whom?
For Schulte.
Oh, you're part of the Schulte. Is this all Schulte over here? Oh, welcome, Schulte people. Really nice that you came out to support Holly. Wasn't she wonderful?
She was.
So, in other words, she makes a living and you're chubby. It's okay. I used to be chubby, too. And where are you from?
New Jersey.
Oh, okay. Do you live in New Jersey now?
No.
Where do you live now?
Few blocks away.
Oh, yes. You've grown up. Oh, where is she from?
Long Island.
Where?
Plainview.
Plain. Great. Maybe you were cheerleaders together, right? That's really great. Plainview or Kennedy? Which one? Kennedy, yeah. Aren't you amazed I know that?
Yeah.
Right. Do you know these other people from Schulte? Yeah, because you make the money and you have to bring. He's the plus one forever, right? You were never married before. No, I don't say you. Positive about. No question about. Where'd you go to school?
Penn State.
Really? You're a Nittany Lion. Yeah, bet you are. You didn't play football for them, just guessing. No 4'10", 225, right? And where'd you go to school, Schulte Roth?
I went to Binghamton.
Binghamton, that's a wonderful school. And law school where?
NYU.
Oh, so she's a Violet, which is always peculiar because it's in the West Village. So it's an unfortunate name. It's from the 50s. Hi. Hi. You having a good time? Yeah. What's your name? Tyler. And who are you with?
My father.
Oh, hi. And what do you do, Tyler, in high school or junior high?
High school.
Oh, where? Don't tell me you go to John Kennedy, too. No.
Talent Unlimited.
Oh, very good. And what part of Talent Unlimited are you? Acting. It's an acting school, like performing arts. Oh, that's great. Or music and art, right? And have you appeared in anything?
Not yet.
Not yet, but you're studying now. And your father, what do you do? Oh, you're a consultant, I know. Good. That's why he's not going to private school. Good.
I'm an event producer.
Event producer. Does that mean out of work most of the time?
Yeah, no, kidding.
Just the last 2 years.
I've been doing it for a while, actually.
You're out of work for a while. Oh, I see. And what kind of events do you produce?
I do Tanenbaum's annual gala, actually, every year.
That's very nice. Do you actually know him?
I signed up for this channel.
Yeah, try to be a little less animated. Yeah, that's how I usually know you. That's really wonderful. You always get a gift from me. That's my presents, right? My presents to you. That's really wonderful that you do that. And any other Jewish organizations? Tannenbaum's not really Jewish, Justin. And you're only half Jewish, I know. Good. Thank God it's from the waist up. Good. Woo, what was woo mean? What does woo mean? Maryland, we're going to get to you in a second. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's a mixed bag. We do events solo.
Oh, that's really wonderful. Give him applause. It's wonderful. Okay, Marilyn, what was Holly like as a young nymphette? No, last week. Back in high school? No. She was. Was she funny then, too?
She was very funny.
Really?
I was very shy, so when I met her, she pulled me out.
Put you in the closet where you've been these last years. Really? So was she the best student?
She was, yeah, very smart.
Really? Did you know her from high school too? You just came up from Maryland because this was the best thing around.
I married her brother. So.
You married her brother, so. In New York, we don't hardly ever say that. I married her brother, so. Does he make a living? Huh? Does he make a living?
He does.
What does he do?
He's a
Consultant, I know. Go on.
no, he runs a integration for Salesforce company.
An integrated.
He does integration for Salesforce.
Oh, that's great. I have no idea what that means. Right. And you're the daughter, so you know Holly for years too.
Sure.
No, you don't. Okay. Do you actually know this woman who you pretend is your mother?
Yes.
Yeah. And what do you do?
I'm in sales.
For?
I work for a technology corporation.
Of course, a technology corporation.
I sell software to the government.
Sell software to the government. Where'd you go to school?
Bradford University.
Oh, I've heard of that. And yes, I have.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, really? Right. Do you think I'm a liar? Oh, most people do, right? Thank you. No, it's a real school.
Yes.
Right. And where is it? In what state?
It's Southwest Virginia.
Southwest Virginia, a place I've always didn't want to visit. Really? And how was that your choice?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And did she have to pay?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And what did you? Don't ever shine that light at me, okay? And someone also. Okay. No one heard that, right? What do you do?
I'm a clinical social worker.
Oh, so it's a real job, like an MSW type.
Yes.
That's great. And do you have a lot of people that are ill?
I do hospice care.
You do what?
Hospice.
Oh, that's great. Hospice, come on. I'll tell you something quickly, my last minute. About 8 weeks ago, Ron and I were performing together right over here, and a woman, thinking she was helping Ron on a joke, yelled out the punchline, what she appeared to think was the punchline right before the joke came to an end. And he said, "Thank you very much, but that wasn't the line, and thank you for killing the joke." And I got up next and I said, "Tell me, what do you do, this young lady?" And she said, "I'm a hospice nurse." I said, "Really? That's wonderful. Let's give her applause." And so everyone applauded. You don't have to applaud her now. This was 6 weeks ago. I know you're from Maryland. You're confused. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yay, Baltimore. Okay. And so I said to her, "If you interrupt me again, you will then kill 2 comedians in one night." You killed the joke. Thank you very much. I'm Mike Rakosi.
That is Michael Rakosi. Let him hear it, guys. Let him hear it. All right, I got to keep the show rolling. This next guy performs all over the city. Let him hear it. The very funny Mehul Patel.
Thank you, thank you. It's great to be here. I have to admit, this is my first true interfaith event. It is. But I feel unofficially I was born into interfaith and interreligion because my dad, as an immigrant from India in 1981, decided we should live in South Boston. Looking like this. Right? So I did learn a lot from my Irish Catholics. It did. It had a deep impact on me. It did. You know, I do feel like half my soul is Indian, other half is Irish, which just means I have this urge to get drunk at 7-Eleven. It happens, you know. But my interculture and interreligion experience, it continued throughout childhood. I remember my first sleepover with my Italian friend, Dave Camilio. I was excited. I was in the 3rd grade. I was like, I'm going to sleep over Dave's house. It's going to be great. And I remember getting to Dave's house, and we were in the basement, and his brother Rich came down. He's like, what do you want to do? I was like, I don't know. And then he jumped on me and started pummeling me. And I was like, what are you doing? I just want to play video games. Why don't you like me? And he jumped up, and he was like, no, you're my little brother's best friend. I love you. And I was like, oh, so this is how Italians show love. They pummel you. And coming from an Indian household, I kind of was familiar with this form of love. I was. It just only happened on report card day. Right? And I got the same explanation from my parents. We're just doing this because we love you. Right? So I had a lot of misadventures growing up, but I recently had another interreligious experience. Since I turned 40 a few years ago, my mother refuses to use my first name when she introduces me. Yeah, she does. She now solely introduces me as the oldest unmarried Indian man on the planet. And she's convinced this is true. I'm like, I don't know. But she's taken this to a new level. She has. She is now recruiting Jewish moms to give me additional guilt. She is. And these Jewish moms are in their 70s, and they've had a lot of practice. So her new best friend, Mrs. Goldberg, literally moved into the house next door. And Mrs. Goldberg likes leaving me voice messages. And they go something like this. You're killing your mother. You're not so ugly. You're not good enough for my Rachel. But we'll find you someone. And then I can hear my mom in the background, you tell him, Linda, you tell him. It's crazy. I gotta tell you, the combination of a Hindu mom and a Jewish mom, it's worse than waterboarding. Honestly, what are they doing sending the president and the Secretary of State to negotiate with North Korea? Send these two women. That fat bastard will give up his nukes in 36 hours. He'll be like, get Mrs. Patel out of here. Get Mrs. What? South Korea? Well, we love you. Come over here. Get these women out of here. You know, my God. They're driving me crazy. These messages are real. This is a true story. I mean, Mrs. Goldberg leaves these messages once a week. So I started going on these blind dates she's setting me up with, right? And the women are perfectly nice. They are. They're educated. They're sweet. They're pretty. They're fun. But there is this one little odd thing. You know, because I'm Indian and a Hindu, they think I'm some sort of fucking oracle. All right? And they ask me these questions like, how do you de-stress? How do you do it? How are you doing this in New York? And I'm like, what the hell kind of question is that? I do what everyone else here does. I curse and drink excessively. All right? I swear to God, all these women want to do is bang Deepak Chopra. Meaning of life in my back pocket. You think I'd give that to you for free? I'd sell that shit to you, and then I would take it back as I'm foreclosing on your house. That's what they taught me, God damn it. So at this point in the date, it's obvious there will not be a second date. Because they have this look on their face like, what the hell kind of watered down Indian are you? You know, but what I have learned about going on dates in New York is no matter how bad a time a woman is having, she will stick around for dessert. She will endure hell to get to that dessert menu. I mean, they've got endurance for that. They will, and they know what they're doing. They do. They know what they're doing. They'll start talking about certain things. And one thing they love to talk about is how much they love to travel, right? Which is just, going on vacation, really. And we all love it, right? But and they ask me questions about that. They're like, I'd like to go to India someday. Where should I go? And I'm thinking, I don't know, you could try the Taj Mahal. Like, no, you loser, where did the locals go? And I'm thinking to myself, I was born in Rhode Island. I don't have the foggiest notion where the locals go, all right? And why the hell do you want to go to India in the first damn place? All right, it's complete chaos over there. Every day, cows are part of the traffic pattern. Okay, it's 100 degrees every day. The damn buildings are sweating. And this is the birthplace of yoga, yet I challenge you to find a yoga studio there. There aren't any, because there's no space. All right, this is why my parents immigrated. This is why people leave. It's like Staten Island. Unless you're from there, why would you go? All right, thanks a lot. My name's Mehul Patel.
Mehul Patel, guys, let him hear it. All right, we got a special treat coming for you. This next guy coming to the stage, you might want to check out his album. That is crushing it out there, #1 on iTunes, all over SiriusXM. It is called Avid Indoorsman. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Gerber.
Keep that noise going for your host, Ron Nobles, ladies and gentlemen. Let him hear it tonight. How are we doing tonight? Nice to be here. We're having a good time. We're all back in person, hanging out, having fun. This is really nice, isn't it? It's nice to be back in person. I'm turning 45 this week, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. I do look a lot younger. Thank you for thinking that. Appreciate that. I'm turning 45, and I'm looking forward to celebrating in person. Like my last 2 birthdays I spent in quarantine, and, last birthday my friends were like, hey, Mark, do you want to do Zoom for your birthday? Should we just do Zoom for your birthday? And I was like, no, you know what, let's not. Let's just do Venmo. Keep it simple. Do Venmo. The people that didn't know what Venmo was didn't laugh. Venmo actually used that joke they tweeted it and used it on their Instagram. Ironically, did not Venmo me for it though. Did not give me a red cent for it. So I'm glad to be here for Tanenbaum. This is an interfaith organization, is that right? Yeah. Interfaith, that's awesome. Big fan of interfaith. Do you guys accept agnostics and atheists as part? Big fan? Oh, you accept Venmo. Okay, that's good. From anyone. You know all of them, sir. That's incredible. Send this guy money. Somebody send this guy money because he knows how to receive it. PayPal. Cash, do you accept cash? Okay, I'll see you after the show then, so we'll take care of you. I happen to be an atheist. I don't know, are there any atheists? Can you admit it if you're an atheist in here tonight? Oh, you are some atheists here. Most Jews, I'm Jewish, so it's most of us are atheists in New York, kinda, I used to be the stereotype of an atheist, though. I don't know if you guys know what that is. I used to be the stereotype. I used to be kind of arrogant about my atheism, Like I was the kind of person where if someone would reference God, in a way that had nothing to do with me, I'd still have to challenge it. Those people like, where's your evidence that God exists? There's no proof that there's a God. And my friends would be like, Mark, this is our wedding. And you're officiating it. Like, why now? Why here, I left the city during the pandemic, guys. I'm just moving back to the city now. I heard someone make a little sound about that. It's funny because one of my friends was like, no, Mark, you didn't leave the city. You abandoned the city during the pandemic. you abandoned the city. And I thought about it, and it's like, what was I gonna do for the city during a pandemic as a comedian? You know, like, what was my role gonna be? You know, like, was I gonna bang pots? I guess I could have banged pots. I guess I don't know. I still paid my taxes. You know what I would have done if I would have stayed in the city during the peak pandemic? I would have taken up a hospital bed with an anxiety attack. You know, they would have been like, no, Mark, I'm sorry, you don't have COVID, this is just anxiety, you gotta go home. And I would have been like, well, listen, either way, I can't breathe on my own right now, so you're gonna have to do something. I suffer from anxiety and hypochondria, so it wouldn't have been good for me. I moved up to the Catskills during the pandemic. You guys know the Catskills? Yeah. Now let me just be clear. This where I'm living now. It's not the old Jewish Catskills that you may have seen on TV or The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. You know, this is the we've never met a Jew Catskills. Where I'm living, you know, it's like 20 miles north of the city. 2 hours north of the city. But you might as well be in like South Alabama. You know, like one of my neighbors on my block has a Confederate flag. Not kidding, has a Confederate flag. And it took me a while to even meet him because I kind of avoided him. Finally, when I met him, I was like, well, where are you from, Joe? He's like, I'm from the South Shore of Long Island. It's like, yeah, that kind of checks out, actually. It's weird living up there, you know, I don't really fit in. I'm like Mountain Jew up there, you know, like I kind of stick out. He asked me if I do any hunting, and I was like, actually, funny you ask. Fall of 2017, I went truffle hunting in the Piedmont region of Italy. Drank some wonderful Barolos. He's like, that's not what I'm talking about. He's like, did you ever kill a deer? And I was like, no, okay, I've never killed a deer, but I did hit one with my car once. Now I drive a Fiat, so the deer one, we ended up riding him home, but I bought my first house, so I bought a house up there, 45, I finally bought my first house. Thank you very much. Any of you Gen Z or young people, you know that in, if you keep working hard, 20, 30 years, you'll be able to buy a trailer upstate too, so just keep the dream alive. No, I bought a nice house, actually. It is nice, but I have no idea how to own a house or how to take care of a house. Like, I've lived in the city my whole life. You know, it was my first time living outside the city, much less owning a house. You know, I have a guy to do everything. You know, like, I have a handyman for everything. I had a handyman at the house a couple weeks ago, and he asked me if I had a drill. You know, just a simple drill. But he looked at me like he didn't think I had one. You know, like, he just looked at me like skeptical. But I surprised them. I went downstairs in the basement, and I came back upstairs with my ex-girlfriend's pink drill, which he refused to use. You know, I think he thought I was handing him a vibrator or something. He would not take it. And what occurred to me is that I sort of feel like a house cuckold. I don't know if you know what this is. Like, you guys know what a cuckold is? Like, a cuckold is someone that watches other men have sex with their wives, right? Do their wives. I watch other men do my house, you know? Like, I don't need another man to plow my wife, but I definitely need another man to plow my driveway, you know? Like, that's where I'm at. I am loving it up there, though. I've been doing a lot of shopping for the house. I've been doing online shopping for the house. I don't know if this has happened to any of you guys. I was shopping for planters online, you know, just browsing planters on websites. And later that night, I got an email that said, you might want to take another look at this planter. Does that ever happen to you when you're strolling? Yeah, it happens all the time. To me, it felt like a very creepy level of surveillance, though, you know, because, like, I hadn't put my name, my email in or anything. They just somehow had it, and they emailed me. I think this would be, like, really creepy if this happened on, like, dating websites, right? Like, you're just swiping left on people all day, you know, and later that night you get an email, you know, you might want to take another look at Mark, okay? Sure, he's 5'9", which means he's 5'7", which means he's 5'6.5", but He owns a house. He's a homeowner now. And listen, it's not the Hamptons, it's the Catskills. But come on, you're 38. Time to wrap it up. There are some things that I think shopping sites could take from dating sites that might work, though, right? There are some things I think could work. Like, how about this? Like, there's only one Mark left, and 3 people have him in their cart. That could work, right? That I could see working. She said that one was funny. I know what faith she's from. That one was funny. I'm on a dating app now for single people in their 40s. It's called Red Flag. I don't know if you guys have heard of. If you guys have heard of Red Flag. Doing some dating now. I feel like I have to settle down. You know, I feel like I have a pretty decent head of hair, and it's kept me with Peter Pan syndrome for all these years. You know, I look younger, so I act younger, but I feel like I have to settle down. I have to cash in these chips, you know, at this point. Like, because I want kids. You know, that's really the main reason is I really do want kids. What I realize, though, is I think I only want one kid, right? I think I only want one kid, because when I see my friends with 2 kids, right, my friends who have 2 kids, they're really more like boxing referees than parents, right? It's a lot of like back to your corner, you know, that was below the belt, like really is kind of like a and did you I learned this recently, I don't know if you knew this, do you know that do you know what the most violent age in the human lifespan is? Do you know? 2. Yeah, you guys are a smart crowd here. 2 is the most violent age in the human lifespan. Ever since I learned that, whenever I see a 2-year-old on the street, I cross to the other side of the street because I don't want any trouble. You know, I did meet someone on the app. I met someone on the app. It's my first girlfriend from an app, and I fell in love. I got to be honest, I fell in love. She fell in love too, which I know is the more shocking part of the whole thing. A lot of great qualities. She's a Harvard graduate. She's a successful photographer. She's beautiful. And the one quality that I think drew her to me was that she has low self-esteem. So that worked out really good for me in this case. She's great, though. We fell in love, which I realize is gross to even say. You guys are probably icky from that, right? Like, nobody wants to see couples in love, right? Like, I feel like in love is probably the least search porn term of all time, right? Like, nobody wants to see that shit, right? It's like, you know. She's 40, so she's age appropriate. I call her an older woman, even though she's 5 years younger than me, but somehow I call her an older woman. She has her eggs frozen, though. She had her eggs frozen at NYU, which is where I went to school, Michael, because I know he cares a lot about where everyone went to school for some strange fucking reason. It's like, you're 75 years old, where'd you go to college? Who gives a shit at this point where you went to college? Where'd you go to school? Where did you go to school? It's like, all right, I mean, I study autism. I know how it looks. And then you have a circumscribed interest. His is colleges. Let's let him have it. I went to NYU, so I don't know. Maybe I get a discount on the eggs. I don't know. But her eggs are frozen at NYU, and I know I'm getting a paternal instinct. I know I am, because the other night we were having sex, and she's not on the pill. And she's like, you better pull out. You better pull out. She's like, where do you want to come? I was like, I think on your frozen eggs. If I can. I went dirty for the last joke. You guys are awesome. I'm Mark Gerber. Thanks so much. Ron Nobles.
Mark Gerber! All right, guys, we are down to our last comic. Don't lose this energy. Let her hear it. One comic left. Are you guys ready? Oh, I love it. This last comic, you might recognize her. She is the warm-up comic on The View, and she is super funny. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Regina DeCicco!
Oh, how are we doing, everybody? How are we doing? Good, good. Everybody said tonight it's just good to be out. It's good to be out in front of people, right? Guys, I did shows on Zoom for a whole year, at this volume. Do you understand? I live This is true. I live in a one-bedroom apartment with my husband. I was in the middle of the show one day, and all of a sudden I get a text from him, and I'm like, oh my God, he's probably saying good luck. And in all caps, he wrote, shut the fuck up. And I had a moment of being like, maybe he's being cute, you know? Like maybe it's like a cute, like, shut the fuck up. But under it was 3 angry faces. To be clear that he'd absolutely had enough. It was right. Was anybody here with who they quarantined with or who they've been with? Is anyone here with, you don't even have the strength to clap. You're doing it. Was it you two? Was it you two together? How long have you been together? 10 what? I don't even know what that means, but I like that. 9, 10 years. Okay, they don't even fucking know anymore. That's great. It's crazy. 9, are you married? You're not, wait, you're not married. Did we talk to you guys yet or no? You're not married? Were you almost sure? Are we getting there?
Yeah, engaged.
Nobody believes that. Do you even hear that? They're like, no, don't say engaged now because you didn't start there. It's too late. When did you get engaged? Right before that I'll give you, but it took you 8 years. 8 years, you're like, this is it. Did you know the pandemic was coming? You're like, let's get engaged now. And then the pandemic came, you're like, I want to get married so bad. But COVID, oh. You're like, oh my God, I want to send these save the dates out, but there's another variant. Every time, she's like, I got stamps. He's like, Omicron, so you can't do it. They're so close. They're so close to doing it. Are you hoping for other variants now? You're like, more boosters. Okay, so we don't have a date yet. We don't have a date. We do. What's the date? April 9th, 2022. Save the date, everybody. It's happening. Yes. And where is it? Perfect. Good. We're coming. Obviously. This is obviously, you can't do it without us. We're very involved now. And how did you two meet? You went to high school together. This has been a long time coming. You know. Okay, great. Good. This is good, guys. These kids are going to make it. If you got through the pandemic, you're going to do it. There's no testing like that. Right, it's true. Holly knows. There's nothing like that. Because me and my husband, we were together the whole time. We ran out of stuff to talk about day 3 of the pandemic. Do you understand? There was no new information, right? What did you have for breakfast? I was there. Who did you talk to? I was there, right? If he went to the bathroom, I didn't have to ask how it went. I heard the double flush. It was too much. It was too much. It's so good to be out, you guys. Oh, it's so good. You guys, I am doing Invisalign. Anybody do Invisalign in here? Did anybody do Invisalign to straighten their teeth? And you know why? Because I was on Zoom all the time, right? And I'm on the Zoom. And when you're on Zoom, you're staring at your face and you notice stuff you never noticed before. Too much Zoom. I was on Zoom like, oh my God, are my eyes uneven? And then, but you can't fix that. You can't with the teeth. The teeth I'm doing. The teeth I'm fixing. That I'm doing, guys. But it's rough. And then, like I said, me and my husband, just too much time together. And they tell you guys, it's 10 years. You know, you're past that point though. It's not a Cinderella story anymore. You guys, we're well and gone from that. That's what I mean. Because they always tell people it's like a Cinderella story. They make it sound like, oh my God, 2 becoming 1, right? It sounds so sensual. It sounds so nice. And there is something to that, but not in the way you think. Like the other day, my husband and I were on the couch. We were on the couch, Michael, and it is like 2 becoming 1, but not in a sexy way, more like an amoeba, right? Like, I don't know where I end and my husband begins. You know what I mean? Like, literally somebody farted, and I was like, whose ass was that? Because I don't know anymore. That's what I'm saying. That's where we are. Like, true love is it's this weird place. It's this weird place that's kind of gross that nobody tells you about, right? So I'm doing Invisalign now, right? So me and my husband went for a bike ride. We went City Bikes. I don't want you to think we work out all the time. We had a coupon, okay? We had a coupon for City Bike. It was about to expire. We used the coupon. So, but I wanted to be aerodynamic. I didn't want anything weighing me down, right? So I kept it light, just my phone and my wallet, right? We go on this bike ride. We finish the ride. A friend texts me, Regina, do you want to go for a drink? I don't understand how exercise works. I'm like, yes. So that's right. And I was like, I don't want to take the bike back. I'm going to meet my friend for drinks. But I didn't have any more pockets. So I said to my husband, oh my goodness, will you take my teeth, right? I wanted him to take my Invisalign back home with him. And he did it. He did it, everybody. I looked down and in my husband's pocket was the outline of my teeth. He had my Invisalign, and I had a moment of being like, oh my God, that is so sexy and disgusting. Like, that's gross, but that's what I mean. That's where love takes you. It's such an unexpected place, but that's where we are. Got the Invisalign. Oh my goodness, I can't. Now, did you guys have to do stuff on Zoom? Did you work on Zoom? Did this crowd work on Zoom? What did you do on Zoom? Just it's, you know what's so funny? Coming out of the pandemic, we don't even know how to talk to people anymore. You're like, let me give you a speech on what I've done online. Conferences, webinars. But did you have a platform you preferred? No, you didn't. But was it too much Zoom? Yes. So you're way too, did anybody have to deal with kids on Zoom? Did anybody have to deal with kids on Zoom? Because I didn't know this. So I warmed up the audience for The View for a whole season virtually. I didn't realize. Did you guys realize there were kids doing kindergarten on Zoom? Did you realize that there were kids doing kindergarten on Zoom? Could you imagine, Mark, on Zoom? So the parents were, I know, look at you got the sad face. You were like, no. And what they would say, the parents would say, and the teachers, the kids would just go to the bathroom and never come back. Because they're 5. They would just go to the bathroom, get distracted, never come back. So another teacher said at least they would leave. She had one student, they would just take the whole class with them. Like to the bathroom. But my favorite, one teacher said a kid literally shut off the iPad, took the iPad to the bathroom, sat on the toilet, and then turned the iPad back on. Could you imagine thinking whatever you were learning was that important? You're like, we're doing colors today. I can't miss this. Like, it seems so insane to me. But I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. That is amazing, right? It's bananas. Oh my God, but it's good, it's good. We're back, and we're doing stuff in person. But it is tricky. Good, you've got your masks on, it's good. Stay safe in these streets. I know. It's such a crazy time. It's such a crazy time. You guys may have noticed I have a deep voice. You may have noticed. You guys, my 2-year-old niece calls me Uncle Gina. That's true. She does know the difference, and she does it anyway. She does it anyway. It's a real power move. I'm like, Christmas is coming, aunt, but she doesn't care. I was actually doing a show, and this woman came up to me after, and she was like, oh my God, my friend wants to meet you. And I said, of course, like anything for a fan. And she was like, oh, well, my friend is a speech pathologist. And she thinks you have polyps, right? I know. So I run into this woman in the bathroom, and she starts making me do vocal exercises, and I do them because I want another Instagram follower, right? And then eventually she's like, oh, well, does it hurt when you talk? And I said, well, it doesn't hurt me when I talk, but I feel like it hurts you when I talk, right? It's true. And this is it. This is the volume. And the other day I said something, and I couldn't hear. My husband responded, and I couldn't hear. So then I said to him, I was like, no, I didn't hear what you said. And my husband said, I think you're so loud, you're making yourself go deaf. Does anyone know if that's possible? You are not. That's possible? Hi, that's possible. Did you do that to yourself? Why are you pointing to him? Are you deaf by your own doing? Wait, you are? Doesn't that... Are you in a medical book? Can you hear anything I'm saying? Did you really make yourself deaf? Can you speak? Okay, guys, I didn't know what was happening. That was so intense for a second. I was like, am I making this better or worse? I didn't know if you had no idea where you were. Is he like, this woman is accosting me? I've got no idea what she's saying. Oh my God. So wait, so you can totally hear, but but did you affect your own hearing? Yes. How did you do that? Talking? Being loud like you. Is that what I sound like? Is that how you, Good for you. Good for you. Did you know them or no? Is this a lot for you right now to find out about that? No, are you guys here together? Are you together or just sitting together? How long have you been together? 2 years. And how did you meet? Online. How online? You can tell us that's where we're going with this. Tell us the dating app. It was Bumble. Good. That wasn't a secret. That's good. And it's been going strong. Wait, your parents don't know that you met on Bumble? What bullshit story did you give them? You know that we're streaming this. What if they're watching? Your mom is like, oh, no. You didn't tell them you met at church or something, did you? Because this is getting crazy. How do they think you met? They think you met at work, and what do you do? I used to work in finance. So now you're like, oh, I worked at this job, and I met him, and then I left? Do you imagine having to keep this backstory straight? And now do you still keep the same imaginary job? I don't even understand. Do you guys have fake resumes? How is this story going on? Do you still work at this place? Not anymore. Did you make up a place you worked at so he worked at the same place? No, you had to have made up a place. So you made up a workplace and a job so they think you met at this job that didn't happen. When we have to tell them it's been 2 years. Someone's gonna give a speech at your wedding and it's gonna get really fucking weird. And your mom just takes all the money back. She's like, oh no, they're not gonna have it. Thank you for sharing. Did it feel good to get it off your chest? Right, exactly. You guys, this is also therapy. Does anyone else need to share? Does anyone else need to share? I had no idea it was gonna be this intense over here. I didn't know. Do you need to share anything now that we're on the topic? Are you two together? Yes. And how long have you been together? Happily unmarried for, so you got 24 years. Happily unmarried. One solitary clap you got just for that. Everyone else was judgment, judgment, judgment. And then just Hollie was like, you know what, I think that's a nice thing though. But Hollie and then you were like, oh, we should have done that. And how did you two meet? At work. At real at work or fucking fake at work? Was it real jobs or it was like this kind of jobs? Because now this is an option we didn't even know we had. What was your job? You're both, okay, so you're both lawyers. And then that was how you met. And then decided, like, we're lawyers, let's not make this official, it's gonna get too messy. Okay, good, and then you just stayed, and then you're like 24 years the whole time together. This way we don't have to pay lawyers if you're partners. No, that's what I mean, you knew right away. Everyone respects that, they respect the lawyer game, right? Look, you guys get it over here. You guys, are you guys taking notes over here? What's going on? Is this a group of friends? What's happening? Do you like how he's like, no, we don't actually like each other socially at all. Are you friends? No. We work together and we're forced to be here at one time. But it looks like it's working. I feel even though you're not facing any of them, you've really moved on. You're like, guys, I need to face this way and not look at everybody that I came with. I get it. You don't, and what do you guys do? Insurance. Oh, very exciting. Okay, good. So this is it. You can clap for yourself if you want. It's like it's kind of good. It's kind of bad. Oh my God, we like it. We like you guys. This is good. Are you guys traveling again? You guys are traveling again? Are we getting into that territory? You guys, it's good. I have a hot tip for you guys, just so you guys know. I spend a lot of time traveling for comedy, and we're back out there. Did you guys know there's no plunger in a hotel toilet? Does anybody know this? There's no plunger in a hotel toilet. This is important news. You know I gotta let the people know. There's no plunger in a hotel toilet. So if you're staying in a hotel and you have a situation, you have to call down to the front desk. You guys are looking at me like this is a TED Talk. I don't know what you expect to learn from this, but you guys are very intense, and I appreciate it. There's no plunger in a hotel toilet. So if you're staying in a hotel and you need a plunger, you have to call. I like that you're acting out a plunger, sir. Look at you. You're like, does anyone show everybody how you did your plunger? You guys, he's aggressive plunging. That is aggressive plunging right here, but it's very much appreciated. I did not see that coming. Who are you here with? Just friends? What's going on? Okay, good. I like that you're not even sure. Okay, good. I just want to know, you're going to have to answer for this plunging thing later. That's what I'm letting you know. Because later I'm going to be like, what was the whole plunging thing you did? Just so you knew that's not the end of this. But that is how a plunger works. Thank you for playing. Okay, good. So if you're staying at a hotel, right, there's no plunger, you call down the front desk. So I had a situation, my hard of hearing friend, I had a situation, and I called down to the front desk, and they were like, oh, you can just come to the lobby and you can get a plunger. And I was like, oh, can I? I can just go to the lobby and get a plunger and then walk back to my room? Right, all Game of Thrones, like shame, shame, shame. Shit, no! Right? That is ridiculous. Oh my God, you guys, I'm Regina DeCicco. You guys have been amazing. You guys clap it up for yourself. Clap it up for Ron Nobles, everybody. Oh my God.
Ladies and gentlemen, let her hear it, Regina the Chico. She's also got her own little side plumbing business, so you might want to think about hiring her. Listen, you guys, thank you so much for coming out. Give yourselves a round of applause for helping out an awesome organization. Clap it up for all the comics. They can hear you back there. Weren't they awesome? And have an awesome night. See you guys later.